Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome comedian and U.S. Army veteran, Thom Tran.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. That was exactly the amount of applause I was expecting at 10:15 in the morning. Polite, some of you are still drunk from Halloween. I get it. I appreciate you being here. For those of you, the folks who are watching at home later, maybe watching this in a different order that the speakers came up in, our previous speaker right before me, Tegan, an inspiration, just amazing. Her family came to the United States in 1995. She enlisted in the Army, became a doctor, and is going back to get her commission. She is the child every Asian parent wishes they had. And I gotta follow that? I literally tell fart jokes for a living. Like, that is my job. I am every Asian parent's worst nightmare. I failed math twice. I married a white chick. Like, my parents don't even know what to tell people I do for a living. There's no word for comedian in Vietnamese. People ask my dad what I do. He's like, he's a clown or something. I don't know what he does. So people ask how I went from being a soldier to being a stand-up comic. I'm a retired United States Army Staff Sergeant, which is a confusing statement because I look like I'm 12. I was the only kid at basic training who didn't have to shave for 8 weeks. Let me tell you how awesome that was. Every day the drill sergeants were like, "Did you shave, Private?" No. I'm 18 and Asian. What am I going to shave? I'm almost 40. I don't shave now. That was great until I wanted to go Special Forces. But it turns out you have to be able to grow a beard for that. Asians, not so good at growing facial hair. I tried it once for a mission. You know what happened? That. I wound up looking like an extra in a 70s porno movie. People look at that photo and they go, "Tom, why do you look so sad with that awesome porn stash?" Right before that mission happened, I was in a firefight that later ended my career. I took a 7.62 round to the back of the skull from an AK-47. And a lot of people have a hard time believing that actually happened. I actually have footage of that day. And there's no audio, but you'll watch the video. You'll watch the video. There we go. There's no audio, but if you read my lips, you can probably figure out my magical words of wisdom after I'd realized I'd been shot. Because that's what you think after you've been shot. People are like, "Why do you watch that?" I always get a different reaction. My mom cried when she saw it. My Army friends were like, "That is awesome." My dad, who was a prisoner of war in Vietnam for 3 years, he watched that video and he said, "Do you know how much ass you're going to get with this?" Yeah, lots, probably. So still, how did I go from being a soldier to being a comedian? That happened day 4 in Iraq. I crossed the border, and on April 3rd, 2003, that happened. And I stayed. I bandaged my own head up, stayed for 12 months. And for that entire year I was in Iraq, I had to literally laugh at death in the face, or else I would have snapped. And I know, because when I came home and I stopped laughing, that's when I snapped. Cried every day. Woke up angry, depressed. And I saw some of my friends and brothers and sisters who were in the same boat. They were walking that same line. And as a non-commissioned officer, I had to do something about that. I had to take care of them as well as take care of myself. And that's when I found comedy. Eddie Murphy's my favorite comic because, just like him, I grew up a young black man in the ghetto. And just thinking about the fact that he could wear a purple leather suit, that was inspirational to me. To this day, I have a pair of assless leather chaps that are purple in my closet. Don't ask me why. But when I found that joy in my heart from comedy, I decided to create the GIs of Comedy, a group of stand-up comics, all veterans of the U.S. military. We've performed in 18 different countries over the last 2 years, performing for our fellow brothers and sisters in service. And this brings me joy. This brings happiness to my soul again. And I still get to be a non-commissioned officer. I can't kick down doors. I can't jump out of a plane, but I still get to take care of soldiers by making them laugh. And my father, who was a prisoner of war, he was a pilot in Vietnam. He fought and brought my family to the United States so that we could have the opportunities that he wanted us to. He wanted me to be Tegan, basically. He wanted He didn't want another daughter. He already had 2 of those, but he's got a comedian. And he's okay with that. He knows that my love for my fellow brothers and sisters, my veterans, is what makes me who I am. I recently bought a house here in Los Angeles, which, that kid that's crying, that's me. For a kid that came to the United States with literally nothing, the fact that I just bought a home in Los Angeles is a huge deal. And when I bought that house, my father sent me something that he knew I wanted. It's a photo that's back at my parents' house on the mantle. It's a black and white photo of my family in 1984. We went to Washington, D.C. and got a chance to meet President Ronald Reagan. And it's the photo that put me on the path to where I am. I looked at this photo as a refugee, as a child. I got to meet the president. That's one of the reasons I joined the Army. And my father sent me this photo from my house. And I looked at it, and I went, is that a cardboard cutout of Ronald Reagan? And I called my dad, and he's like, yeah, you don't think we really met the president, did you? Yeah, because I've been telling people for 37 years I met the president. So I don't even know what's real from my childhood anymore. Did I really meet Magnum P.I.? I'm going to go with no. Nonetheless, this is why I became a soldier. Because of a cardboard cutout of Ronald Reagan. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Thom Tran. I'm a U.S. Army veteran.